Hello, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes. I hope anyone may connect a little bit late. All right. So today let's start a new concept called as joins, as I said on the previous day. Before that, someone of you were asked me few doubts on the previous day, right? Uh, Sweta, you asked about primary key and foreign key. I mean, how to remove them, right?
yes, yes.
Yes, let's first discuss about it. Once we are done with our doubts, we will start the joins concept. And someone, I didn't remember the name, they asked me like how to, if you want to, convert the date difference. Generally, the output of the date difference function will be in the form of days. If you want to convert it, what to do, something like that. Someone has asked me, I didn't remember the name. Is that
It's me, Divya.
great? Okay, let's see that one also first. Before joins, first see. So Sweta, as you asked about primary key and foreign key, we already discussed what is primary key and foreign key. We know how to create them, and this Sweta's doubt was it, can we remove the primary key and foreign key, like already defined primary key and foreign key, can we remove that? As I said on that day, Sweta, of course we can remove that by using the drop command inside the alter, right? On that day also I said, let's see practically how to do that. So let me take any table first. One second, let me just choose one database and tables. See, let's do one thing. I will use this Durgasoft database. So I'm activating it. Durgasoft 2. Okay. And this we have employees one table and employees two table. Let's see employees one table first. Select star from employees one, right? Okay, I have the table structure only. I don't have data, but still, if you can see here, if whenever we are selecting the table from here at the bottom, you can see along with the data types, we can see if there is primary key, it will define also. Basically, in employees two table, we have primary key, but in employees one table, we don't have primary key. First, let's see. I think I don't remember. Did I explain it or not? Did I explain you like how to create a primary key for the existing table, already created table? I didn't remember did I set this or not in this batch. Let me do it once again. If this is already created for already created table, here employee ones we already created it. Previously we learned how to create the primary key whenever we are creating the table itself. But instead of that, if we want to add the primary key for the existing table, what we need to do, let's see, this is employees one is the table, right? Simply we need to use alter command. Alter table, table name will be employees one. Okay, next we need to use add primary key. Okay, we need to use add primary key. Here employees one is my table, and I will mention for employee id I want the primary key, right? So simply I can mention employee id here. Okay, did I set this for you previously? Guys, please respond.
Not sure, Divya.
Okay, even I didn't remember, as I will on daily basis I will explain to many batches, no? So anyways, already we know how to create the table and how to define the primary key along with the table, correct? So if there is any table and if there is no primary key defined, how to add the primary key to the table? Here we have employees one table, but previously we didn't have the primary key. And for the already existing table, if we want to add the primary key, we will use alter command and we will use add keyword here. Inside the alter command, like alter table name, we will use add and simply we will use this primary key, what do you call, keyword, and we need to mention for which column name we want to add the primary key. Okay, if we can refresh this, you can see here now for employees one also we got primary key, right? I, as far as I remember, or I already covered this concept. Now Sweta's doubt is like if how, whether we can remove the existing primary key or not. As you can see here, Sweta, for employees one, just now we defined a primary key, right? Now we need to drop primary key. Okay, of course we can do that. We can drop the primary key again by using the alter command only, as I said on that day. Same again, alter table name. We need to use drop here, drop keyword, and we need to use drop primary key. That's it. Here no need of using any column name here. Directly we can use just drop primary key, alter table name, drop primary key. As you can see here, now for employees one we have primary key. As soon as I execute this, okay, it got executed. Let me refresh the schema. I will select employees one. You can see our primary key got removed, right? By this way we will drop the primary key. And the reason why I didn't use the column name here, any guesses? Anyone?
So we have
Discuss.
already like assigned primary key for a specific table, specific column, sorry.
Okay,
So automatically it identifies.
right. That is also correct. But the main concept here is, if you remember, whenever we discussed about the primary key, I said one important rule that for every table we will have only one primary key, right? For each
Yes.
and every table, we will have only one primary key. That means we don't have multiple primary keys. No, that's the reason instead of mentioning the column name, by default, we will have only one primary key in that table. Whatever primary key we have, that primary key it will drops or deletes. Okay, that is the actual reason behind not using the column name here. I hope this is clear for you, everyone. And Sweta,
Yes. And the same applies for foreign key also, Divya.
foreign key actually, we can drop the foreign key also, but we need the concept will be little bit different because generally what we will do there, we will connect the two tables, right? Where basically we will use references over there, we will connect the tables, so the concept is different. Let's see that also. So in which table we created for course details and students table, right? We created foreign key, students details and course details table. If you remember, this is the primary key. Like for course details table, we created for the we have, let me just 1 second, let me here only display the data. Not employees, sorry, course details. So we have course detail table. This is our course detail table. We have CID, CNAME and duration, right? And we have, I'm just keeping a semicolon here. We have select star from students table, right? So we have course detail table and we have student table. In student table, we are having course ID. In course detail table, I have CID. As you know, we created a foreign key between this column, common column, CID and course detail, course ID, right? Whenever we are creating, what we did, whenever we are creating the students table here, what I did, I created a foreign key for course ID by taking the reference of course details table CID. So I already created the foreign key for students table, right? Now what I need to do, I need to remove the foreign key. To do that, what we need to do exactly, now let's see that. Of course, here also we need to use drop only, but the concept here is, if I click on course details here, here we can see primary key. For CID, we can see primary key, right? If I click on students here, we can see primary key, of course, but we cannot see anything about foreign key details here, right? So first we need to understand on which column name we created foreign key. Here, of course, we remember we created the foreign key for the course ID table, right? But in real time, we will deal with big data and someone will create the tables and we will work on that already existing tables. At that time, we might don't know on which column name they created the foreign key, right? First, we need to, check on which column foreign key was created, and to check that, we will use one a syntax here. That is, we need to first use a show. There is something called as a show keyword. We need to use a show create table. Create table. We need the details of students. Basically, this is the syntax, I can say, where I'm asking to show create table syntax of students table. Okay, whenever we are creating any table, we will use create command only, correct? Now here I want to check in my students table what is my foreign key. So that's the reason I'm asking SQL to show me the create table syntax of students table. Okay, The syntax will be like show, create table and table name. Let me just execute this. See, we will get the output like this. The table name will be the student and create table syntax will be like this. If I just keep my cursor over there, it will show me the complete syntax, but it will show me the detailed syntax, which, in the backend. However, whenever we are creating the table, normally we will create by basically what we will do, we will give the column names, we will give the data types. If necessary, we will give primary keys and foreign keys. But in the backend, it will be saved in like this manner. First, to understand it easily, let me I will just copy that. 1 second. I can just, what I can do, I will just click, I can just click here. I will just, I used Control C, that is copy, and I pasted here. We can just copy like that also. Okay. I need to click here, then Control C, then Control V. I pasted this whole thing here. Let's see what is the syntax is. From here, we got it. Create table students is our table name. SID. First, we have SID is a column. Integer, of course, we only define the data type as integer. It is defined as not null because we created primary key for that. Like that, by default in the backend, the syntax will be a little bit different. Okay. Next, we have s name varchar. Next, default null. Like that, it will take some null values. And whenever we create a foreign key, our syntax will be like after the column names, that is SID, SNAME and course ID, we can see primary key of SID, right? Because whenever we are creating the table, we mentioned this SID as the primary key. Then what we did, we mentioned course ID as the foreign key, right? Here you can see foreign key of course ID. Like this, basically, whenever I will execute this show, create table and table name, it will show me the sorry, it will show me the create table syntax. This is the complete syntax. I can just copy that output and paste it here so that I can easily view this. Here you can observe only one thing. You should observe only one thing. What is the foreign key? You can see foreign keyword here, and you can see in that brackets course ID is the foreign key. That means for course ID column, we defined a foreign key, right? And one more important point here, for whenever we define the foreign key, by default in the backend, one foreign key constraint will be assigned. This one. Okay. You can see here constraint. This is the constraint name, foreign key of course ID. Okay. First, we need this constraint ID. So I'm just copying this ID from here. Guys, if you think it a little bit complex, also just try to listen once. Once again, I will repeat it once again also if needed. Okay. Now what I am doing for this foreign key, this is my constraint. You can see constraint keyword here, right? After constraint, we will have FK. We will have by default, there will be some name. Okay. I'm just copying this. Basically, this is the constraint name of this table of the in the students table, we created a foreign key for course ID column, and the constraint name is FK underscore course ID. Now, our requirement is that I want to drop the foreign key, and the syntax to drop the foreign key is alter table name. Let me write it as syntax first. Okay. Alter table name, drop. Again, same, drop only. Here also we will use drop only, but here what we will do, we will mention drop foreign key. Okay. Till here, the syntax will be same. We will use like alter table name, drop primary key, right? Whenever we want to drop primary key, we will use alter table name, drop primary key, and we will mention the table name. 1 second. Alter table name, a drop primary key. That's it. We will use that this much only whenever we are dropping the primary key. But when it comes to the foreign key, our syntax will be like alter table name, a drop foreign key, and here we will mention the foreign key constraint. Okay. I can just write it as like this. Foreign key constraint name. Okay. So let me write the example here. Alter table. My table name is students, right? And drop foreign key. This is my constraint name, which I just copied just now, right? I need to use that constraint name here. Okay, basically to get this constraint name, we need to first execute this statement. Show create table, table name syntax. We are asking the SQL to show the create table syntax first. It will display the complete syntax, which was by default stored in the background. Because this all these tables we only created, I didn't used all these things that like default null, this constraint names, we never declared all these things, right? By default in the backend it will store like this. So SQL automatically gives some constraint names to the foreign key. Foreign, we will call it as foreign key constraint. So first we need to know what is the foreign key constraint name here. To know that, I used this show create table table name syntax. And whenever I see this foreign keyword here, before that you can see constraint keyword. After constraint keyword, basically we can able to find that foreign key constraint name. Okay, we need to copy this and we need to use that name here. Okay, am I clear? Let me just execute the statement. Alter table, table name, drop foreign key and foreign key constraint. See, it got successfully executed. Okay, but again the concept here is here if it is primary key, we can able to see here, right? Our primary key, we cannot able to see the primary key if we use drop. But for the foreign key, if it exists also, we cannot see. If we remove also, we cannot see anything here. But again, if we want to check if there is any foreign key or not, again, let's execute the same line. The show create table students. Now also I got some of the, you know, syntax here. I'm just copying it. If we write any mistake here in the above, above syntax, or if we wrote the foreign key name also, if we did any mistake in writing this name, or if we wrote anything wrong, it won't execute first of all. By in that way we can understand whether it dropped or not. It will throw us an error stating maybe syntax error, maybe constraint name is different, like that. Okay, now you can observe after removing the foreign key, once again I executed that show table syntax, and this is the output which I got. Here you can see there is no foreign key. I have only primary key SID. We don't have foreign key, we just have key, that's it. We don't have any foreign key, right? Correct, guys? Is it understandable for you?
Yes, Divya.
So by this by by using this way we can remove the foreign key. Okay, here what I did, first I shown you how to remove the primary key. The syntax here is primary key simple. Drop, we need to use inside the alter table, we need to use drop command, and we need to say just drop the primary key, then the primary key will be removed. Whereas if it comes to when it comes to the foreign key, there will be some, we will use a reference, we will basically create a foreign key based on two tables, right? We will take the reference of another table and we will create the foreign key. That's the reason first we need to use the foreign key constraint name here. Inside the syntax up to here will be same, like alter table, inside the alter we need to use drop, but we need to know the foreign key constraint name. To know the constraint name, first we need to, not only to know the constraint name, whenever if you want to check the create table syntax, you can use this one. Let me write it here. Syntax for displaying create table syntax. Okay, will be this one. Show create table. This will be table name. Okay. Then you can just copy that from the output. You can see foreign key here. This will be the constraint name. You will just copy that and use it here. Our foreign key will be deleted. I hope this is clear for you.
Yes, Divya.
Great. So this is how we can remove the primary keys and foreign keys from the existing tables. Okay. And the second doubt,
Divya,
yes,
in this,
Yogi.
can we able to give our own key code? Like, you want any specified key code like that?
Specified key
Like our own key, Divya. For
here.
example, F key underscore like table
Here,
like
yes,
that.
of course we can give. We can give. Whenever we are creating, we can give. Actually, in what time we will give that, in the sense, if we want to, you know, add a foreign key for the existing table. Here, what we did previously, while creating table only, students table, I defined a foreign key, right? But for suppose, as we saw just now, what we saw for the existing table, like for employees one, we have already employees one table here. I created a primary key for the existing table, right? First, whatever I shown, like we used how to add the primary key for the existing table. For the existing employees one table, we created a primary key by using this alter and add, correct? Like that, whenever, if for the existing tables, if we want to add the foreign key, at that time we need to define the foreign key constraint. Let's see that one also actually. For which table? One second. Let me do one thing. I don't make it more complex. First, what I will try to do, I will just dropped the students table for now. We already have course details table, and in that table, I already have CID as my primary key, right? Now what I will do, I will recreate the students table, but uh, without giving the foreign key. Okay. First, I will do that. One second. This is my students table syntax. Let me remove the foreign key from here. Okay, create table students. SID will be integer, primary key. SName will be varchar of 10. Okay, next I have course ID integer. I will remove this foreign key. Okay, I'm removing the foreign key from here. I'm just creating the table with 3 columns, and I given only SID, I mean primary key for this SID. Now let me just execute this table. I'm refreshing this. We have students table. Now I have course details table and students table. Okay, I already created table. Now if I want to add a foreign key for students table, previously what we did, whenever we are created a students table, then only we added or we defined a foreign key, right? But first, suppose if in real time also, if you want to add a foreign key for the existing table, add foreign key for existing table, then how to do that, let's see now. Okay, here my existing table is students. I will just add the foreign key directly here. Again, I will use alter command only. So alter table name, my table name will be students, right? So what I will do, I will write it as alter table name, add constraint. First let me write syntax here. Alter table table name. Okay, add constraint. I need to add the constraint here, and I need to give any constraint name. Wait. Add constraint name. Okay, I will add constraint name, and then I will mention the previous line, like foreign key of, on which column I am creating foreign key, that is course ID. Basically here I can write column name, as this is syntax. Okay, I need to write it as references I can say course details table. So course details maybe referenced table of column name. Guys, if you feel complex of this syntax, just ignore this. Let's see example. Create table, a table name will be students, right? Next I need to use add constraint. Here we need to give the constraint name. As you asked Yogi, we can give any constraint name of our choice. Here for example, let me give, as I am creating the foreign key on course ID, right? So previously what we have, fk underscore course ID, right? Now what you want me to give? You only tell me anything, any constraint name.
I give a table name along with column name.
Table
FK
name
underscore
along with,
table name.
yeah, we need to use fk, and then so that it will be more understandable for us. If we don't use fk also it will work, but to understand we will use fk underscore table name, maybe students underscore course ID, right?
Yeah, that's
That's what you are saying. Perfect. So add constraint name. You can see here, add constraint name. Then we need to use this. I'm just copying it. Foreign key of column name. Our column name is course ID, right? On course ID column only we are going to create a foreign key. And then what we need to write? We need to write references. We are taking the reference from the course details table CID, right? If you remember, this foreign key of course ID references course details of course ID is the same syntax which we used here. Foreign key of course ID references course details of CID, right? Whenever we are creating the foreign key for, I mean directly whenever we are creating the table also, we will mention the same line only, correct? The only extra thing, whenever we are altering or whenever we are adding the foreign key to the existing table, extra line will be like, we need to say add constraint name. Okay, I'm executing this. It got executed successfully. Now let me again write it as show create table syntax, right? Create table of students, right? Let me just copy this and write it down, and let's observe what we got here. Sorry. If you can see here, constraint name is this is what we given, fk underscore students underscore course ID, foreign key of course ID, right? That means in this table, in students table, foreign key is created, and the same name which we given as a foreign key constraint, that name only came, correct? This is how we will add the foreign key in the existing table. Okay, you're welcome. Guys, if you have any doubts, just watch this video once again, it will be clear for you. Okay, but the main concept, if anyone is if anyone of you feel a little bit complex about this concept, you can ignore this, but you should understand how to create the table along with the primary key and how to create the table along with the foreign key. That means the syntax which we discussed previously, this one you should know. And about altering and all, you can if you are a fresher, you can ignore this now. Once with the experience, you can explore these things later also. Okay, basically this is easy only, you can able to understand. All right, this is about your doubts, Sweta, right? Is this clear for you, Sweta?
Yes. And one more thing, Divya. Till
Yes.
now we have covered primary key and foreign key, right? What about
Yes.
super key? What is that
Which key?
super key?
Yeah, all those things. Basically we will have integrity constraints kind of thing. We will have
Hmm?
some constraints over there. As I said to you previously also one of the student asked me. We'll discuss about that in the at the end whenever we are discussing about the interview questions. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Basically only this two constraints only important, primary key and foreign key. Mostly we will use this two only in the real time, but
Okay.
to maybe to some persons maybe in interviews directly they will ask what is integrity constraint. At that time you can able to give the answer, but no one will ask about all this we have some more like maybe we have many constraints like default constraint, unique constraint. No one will bother about it. We won't use it in the real time. Because you can see here, by default, SQL will take it this default syntax. We didn't use this, right? Whenever we are creating, it will be created at the backend itself. Okay. All right. I
Okay.
hope this is clear. Yeah. I hope this is clear for you. And next doubt, Yogi, you only right. You asked something. You asked something about the functions. That is date diff function, right? For that, let me use Maven movies. Guys, if this is the doubt of 1 or 2 persons also, if you listen to this, it may obviously this concepts are new, and you can also learn these things, right? Once we are done with this, we can start joins concept. So I activated Maven movies. In that we have rental table. Select star from rental. So we have rental date and return date. So on the previous day, 1 second, guys. Let me open a new file and character and date functions. So we already discussed about date difference, right? Whenever we are discussing about the date difference, what I said, date difference is used to find the difference between the dates, but the output will be, it will be in the terms of days only, right? For that, first let's see this syntax. I will write it here only. Okay, we have rental date and return date, two columns. Now I want to find the date difference between those two, rental date and return date. Basically, whenever we are finding the date difference, we need to write the latest date column or latest date in the first parameter and the previous date in the second parameter. Right, this is what we saw on the previous day. Let me just execute this. Now here we got the difference in the form of days only. Now Yogi asked me how to convert these days into, if required, months or years, right? That is a question, that is your question, right?
Yes, Divya.
Okay, but basically this output is very like 3-4 days only. We cannot convert it into months. Let me see any other data. Sorry for that. Let me use this employees to table. Select star from employees to. As we have date of joining here, we return a different years, right? Like 2021, 23, 2020. So now to find the experience, what we did on the previous day, we can use the now function. Now in the sense now function, it will display the current date and time, the system data and time, right? So we can just use now function and date of joining as experience. We saw the syntax on that day, correct? The same syntax let's use, and let's try to convert it into date diff and now date of joining. Let me rename this column name as experience days. Okay. See, system date now in the sense it's August 26th, right? So from August 26th, I mean August 2024, this is like August 2021, August 2021 to August 2024. What is the experience of this candidate is like 1109 days, right? Now if we want to see this output in the form of months or years, what we need to do, that is the doubt. Right now let's see how to do that. Basically we can use directly, you know, we have two methods here. Let me explain you two methods how to solve this problem. First I can say we can use approximation method. Approximately, if we talk about days in a month, if we talk about month, approximately we will have 30 days. Like in some months we will have 31 days, in some months we will have 30 days, right? So approximately, and on an average we will have 30.43 will be the count. If we do that average, this will be the days. Okay, let me write it clearly. On an average we will have 30.43. Basically this will be in the form of decimals only. Okay, days in a month. Okay, so we can, what we need to do, we will use the same syntax here, but for that syntax we need to divide it with this 30.43. Here I'm saying date diff of now comma date of joining divided by 30.43. Okay, as, let me write it as experience approximate approx months. Okay, because we have 30 days. I think you got my point. We have 30 days in a month, right? On an average, if we calculate like 30 to in months, some months we have 31, some months we have 30. So on an average, the value will be like 30.43. So we need to just divide this, whatever output we will get from this function, we need to divide that with 30.43. Let's see the output. This will be the output, like 36 months, 16 months, 48 months, like that. But if you can see here, the output is in the decimal format only, because we used here like this. If we have, so for just imagine if for every month if we have 30 days, we will directly use 30 days only. But the in real time we have some 30 and 31 days, right? That's the reason we need to use this. But again, if you want the exact months, if you approximately, we can use this one. This is one method, but instead of this, if you want approximate values, not approximate, sorry, exact values. Exact values, we have another method. Let's see that method also. Basically, to if you want to extract the output in the exact values, at that time we don't use this date diff function. There is one more function for that. We need to use basically that function, and the function is a time stamp diff. Okay, this is date diff function, right? This is another function called as timestamp diff. Use it to extract the output, I can say. Use it to extract the output or values.
You wrote there STAFF or time stamp.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Timestamp actually. Timestamp difference. Okay. If you want exact values, we need to use this function, timestamp difference. Okay. Then how to do that? Let's see. Select the same thing almost, but instead of date diff, we will use a timestamp. Time a stamp diff. Okay. One second. So as we want the output in the form of months, right? So first, basically in this time stamp difference, that is time stamp diff a function, we will use three parameters. First parameter will be the format how we want to extract. If we want to see the output in the form of months, we need to use month. If we want to see the output in the form of year, you need to write year here. Basically this will be the function again. If you remember, whenever we are discussing the date functions in the starting, I said you we have month function, use it to extract the month, and year function, use it to extract the year, right? So basically here what we are doing, we are using one function inside another function. Okay, so first parameter will be month, and in the second parameter we should use the this dates. But here we should use the initial dates only first. Like first I need to use date of joining, then only I need to use recent dates like now function. This is one of the difference between these two functions. Okay, so I can say now, and brackets is also right. Okay, that's it. I can give the alias name, something like this, experience months, but no need of using approx here. I will directly use experience months from employees to. Guys, give me a second. Here actually timestamp. I wrote the spelling mistake. That's what I'm saying. It is not taking. Basically, whenever we will write. The function name. The color will be in the blue color, right? That is also the one of the way we can understand whether we wrote correctly or not. Okay. Here the function is time stamp difference. My bad. I wrote time stamp only. So this is the thing. So once again, let me explain. If we want approximately to calculate, we will use the same date diff function, but we will divide it with 30.43. But instead of the decimal values, if you want the exact values, then you will use this timestamp diff function. In inside this function, we need to use three parameters. The first parameter will be the form or the format of how you want to see the output, whether you want to see in months or whether you want to see in years. You need to write inside that. First, that will be the first parameter. Second parameter will be the column names or the date values, like that. Like I want to see the difference between the date of joining and now, right? So I used those two names here, and the remaining is same, right? Let's execute this. You can see I got exact output in the form of months. As I didn't use a star here, I didn't got the complete data. If you want to see complete data, we can use like this, right? See, 36 months, 16 months, 48 months, like that we will get. Is that clear, Yogi? And before that, I want to tell you one thing, guys. Whenever we discuss about functions or whether it is about regular expressions, especially about functions, there will be a lot of functions. Okay. Here, whatever I discussed will be, like some of the functions which we will use most frequently in our real time. There will be definitely some more functions. You can just explore it on your own. Okay. And this will be like never ending. With frequent updates of SQL, they will be, if suppose, for example, if we have currently 10 functions also, going forward maybe in 1 year or 2 years, we will get some new functions also. We will get all those updates, new updated functions also. According to the requirements, the functions will be, I can say functions will be invented by the SQL team, MySQL. You can find those things in online. Okay. Like that, there will be many functions. Maybe new functions will be also, will also get, we will get some new functions added in going forward years also. But for now, whatever I explained for you are the functions which we will use more frequently in the real time. There are some more functions, you can explore it on your own. Okay. And the same goes with the regular expressions also. I didn't started that concept so far, but whatever I explained wildcards over there, that one will be the most frequently used one. But we will have many more. And I will give you one website link. In that link you can check, all the list of the, at that time I will explain you. Let's not talk about it now. Whenever I explain about regular expressions, at that time I will tell you. But for now, this is about the functions. As I said, there are few more functions. If you are interested, you can explore it on your own. And yes, Yogi, this is what you asked me, right? Is that clear?
As the
Great. So is there any other doubts, or is it clear whatever we discussed so far? If everything is good, we can go with the joins.
yeah, yeah, we can go.
Great. So actually, I want to, upload this file as well, but I'm unable to understand what to give the file name. Can I give, shall I give like doubts? Because we have foreign key and primary key concept here, and we have this one. What do you want me to rename this file?
Yep,
Doubt
downloads is
section
fine.
1.
Okay. Yeah, that will be better. Doubt session 1. Okay. Right. So let's talk something about joins today. I'll just give a little bit intro today, and tomorrow we can continue. So before, as I said, before explaining you joins practically, first I will explain you the theoretical part. I want you to understand what is joins first of all. To do that, let me open one Excel file. One second. So what is joins first of all? As you know, as we discussed little bit, you might have understood what is joins little bit. Basically, joins is nothing but whenever we want to, extract the data from the multiple tables, right? If we have data in the multiple tables, as we saw maybe in Maven movies, we have multiple tables, right? And we have data in the multiple tables. So basically, whenever we want to join the two tables, or whenever we want to extract the data from the two tables, we will use a concept called as joins. Okay, I will give you the technical definition later, but first let's try to understand uh, the concept of joins. Okay, for that, let me give you one example. uh, like I will take any tables randomly, maybe customer table, and and Suppose I have some columns like this: ID, a name, okay, and here also I have some ID and age. Let's forget about the table names, okay. Just think this is my table 1. Let me keep it as table 1 better. Table 1 and table 2, okay. So this is my table 1 and this is my table 2. In this table I have some two columns like ID and name, maybe customer ID and name, okay. I will write it as CID. Here customer ID and age. Okay, this is also my some random tables. Just imagine like that. I have the columns like this, and let me enter some data. I will give like this just to save our time. And I'm giving very randomly all the ages. Sorry. Okay, so this is one table and this is a second table. I have CID and name in the first table, and I have CID and age and the second table. Okay. Suppose if I ask you some questions like, tell me the age of A, what will be your answer? We discussed this whenever we discussed about the foreign key, but still again, what will be your answer? What is the age of A here?
21.
21, right. And if I ask you like, what is the name of the student whose age is 23?
Female.
See, perfect. See, how can you able to answer these questions? Basically by comparing these two columns, right? CID and CID, we are just matching these values and we are able to relate the tables and we are just giving the answers. That is what we did whenever we are discussed the foreign key table also. Basically the concept here is we should have one common column between the two tables, okay. There also, when we are creating a foreign key, we discuss we should have a common column between the two tables, then only we can create a foreign key, and foreign key will create the relationship between the two tables. That what we discussed till now, right? Here when comes to the joins is a concept that I said whenever we want to combine these two tables, or whenever we want to extract the data from these two tables, we will use joins, right? And here also we need there should be some common column between the joins for sure, then only we can perform a join for these two tables, okay. And let me write it. Joins is nothing but whenever I can say use it to extract the data, when used to extract the data from multiple tables, okay. And if I talk about the, it's wrong. Okay, let's leave the definitions here. Whenever we are starting creating the tables, I will tell the definitions in the SQL file itself, so that that will be stored for you in that file also, right? So basically the main point, just remember that there should be common column, right? Common column should be there between the two tables, correct? And if I talk about types of joins, basically we have uh, mainly joins are divided into, I can say, two types, okay. First one is inner join, okay, and the second one is outer join. And outer join is further divided into three times. Okay, that is left outer join, right outer join, and full join. Or I can say full outer join. Okay, we can also call this left outer join as left join, right outer join as a right join, full outer join as full join. As I said, there are many types of joins, but mainly joins are divided into two types, that is inner join and outer join. Okay, and outer join is further divided into three types, that is left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. We can also call it as left outer join, we can also call it as left join, right outer join as right join, and full outer join as full join. Okay, is that clear? And there are few more joins as or also there something called as natural joins, self joins, like that. But these are we will discuss all these things, but these are the most important things and most frequently used things. Once we are done with once we are done with this joins, we will see what is this joins. Okay, so for now just try to understand what is joins. Like whenever we want to combine the data from the two tables, we will use joins, right? And there should be some common column between two tables, then only we can perform a join. And as I said, mainly joins are divided into two types, inner join and outer join, and outer join is further divided into this many types, right? We have some more joins also, we will discuss each one of them very detailedly from tomorrow. Okay, as we are done with the time, I'm just let's end it now. Let's see what is inner join, what is outer join, very detailedly tomorrow. Let's first I will explain you theoretically, then I will let's create joins by using syntaxes. Okay,
Okay, Divya.
great. All right, guys, then let's meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.